Hello there. Conversations with Pumzile. We back again with my next video. So, welcome. Subscribe, like button. Do the things that we normally do. So I am excited. So today I'm going to be interviewing young people again. You know, it excites me when I talk to young people. So these two young men are part of the church that is called Church of Latter-day Saints. They are called Mormons. So they're busy in Joburg doing their missionary work, young, gifted. So I can't wait to have this discussion, this conversation with them and see what they do, who they are, why did they choose what they're doing, and how did it come about that they decided to go to missionary work? Why are they not in university? Or are they studying currently? Everything that I don't know about, they will share with me. So join me as I'm going to be on a Zoom call with them soon. I'm excited. So join me. Subscribe. Cool. Starting. So welcome again to my channel. So let me introduce myself to you guys again. So this is Pumzile. I got conversations with Pumzile, the girl next door. So I do a YouTube channel. So what I do is I interview a lot of people or young people that inspire me in my own ways. So I'm young at heart. So don't, yeah. Very. So the youth in me wants to connect with the youth out there, you know. So before you start, you know, this is going to be part of my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for joining me. Firstly, let you introduce yourselves.
All right. So I am Elder Chagadama. We are currently staying in Rustenburg, and I am 19 years old. I am from Durban. Grew up in East London, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much me.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm Elder Klintworth, and I'm like Elder Chagadama. I'm a missionary currently for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, in which we give 2 years of voluntary service to help people and share a message centered around Jesus Christ. As well, I grew up in Joburg in Midrand, and I am 20 years old.
Okay, so you are a Joburger.
Yeah, that's me from Jersey.
You're from Jersey, so you're more or less home. So which is good. You don't feel like you're away from home.
Yeah, home's still just around the corner.
Other than Elder Chagadama, East London and Devon, goodness. So this won't be about me. It will be more about you because I want to learn and for my followers as well. And so that we together can be able to share things that maybe other people don't know exist. And for young people like you, 19 and 20, I think you are so young. And just the word missionary work, that sounds like, it's, yeah, like missionary work. So I know of your church is called the Church of Latter-day Saints, hey?
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
You see. So we know the Mormons, but we don't know, like let me say I didn't know the full name. I only knew, okay, Mormons, but I didn't know what that means and what type of church is it. But I don't want to dwell more on the church, but more on you as young people. How did you come about to decide that at 19 and at 20, instead of going to varsity or follow certain passion, you will share later what you want to be after mission, what's your journey. But deciding at that age to say, I'm going to give my 2 years of life in mission. What's that about? How did it come about? Share the journey with me.
Okay. So for me, I guess I grew up not my whole life in the church, but from the age of 13, I was baptized into the church. So I got to kind of grow a little bit in the church through my youth. And so my high school years, I was in the church and, active, getting to actually be a bit more comfortable in the church. And then I finished matric last year, and so when I got to finish, and I was waiting for the marks, I was clear on the fact that I'm gonna go to study music at Wits, right? We had even gone for the auditions, I think in October, and they had accepted me on the audition side. All I was waiting for was the mark.
Okay.
And so time went on, and I think it was January, literally the day before we were about to get our marks, so the 7th, because I think we got them on the 8th. And so as I was waiting, it was probably like 10 o'clock at night, we were waiting for my marks. I just had this huge feeling just to say that, well, what are you doing, for this year? And I had to ask myself that question, what am I going to do? What am I doing? And so I just had this really hard feeling that I need to go and serve the mission, because in the church it's not a commandment that we must go and serve a mission, but it's like
so you're not forced. Okay.
Yeah, we're not forced. Everything that we do is a choice, right?
Wow.
And so I had to make the choice, and I just felt that I need to serve.
Okay.
I don't know 100% what the reason is, but I believe that I'm going to find it if I keep working and doing the things that I need to do on the mission.
Wow. And you, Elder Klintworth, your story?
Yeah, so I was born into the church, and my parents were both converts. They both joined in their early 30s. But I grew up, and from the age of 12, I was often outside of the home, and I was traveling.
Okay.
I traveled to play a high level of competitive golf, and I traveled around the world, and I met a lot of people from lots of different backgrounds, different environments, lots of cultures. So that was really fun. And I came to see that the world is a lot bigger than we think, but it's also a lot smaller than we think. We meet people that other people know. So it's small in the sense of everyone knowing each other, but it's big in the sense of things to learn.
Wow.
But I love traveling and loved playing golf. And one of my greatest desires was always to go to university and play college golf in America. And in order for that to be accomplished, I would have needed a scholarship. So I did homeschooling for quite a while. I schooled at small little houses where I get my education and focused on golf. But from the age of 15, I was speaking to university scouts and trying to find out the process and what was required. And they asked about me and what were my goals. And I said, what happens if I gave up 2 years to not play golf and serve a mission for the church? And, lots of people thought I was nuts. You mentioned earlier how there's so many 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds, they're studying, they're getting on with their life. But people think giving 2 years is going to put you on hold, you're going to throw away your life or ruin your future.
True.
So for a long time, I didn't want to serve a mission. And I wasn't going to serve a mission.
Okay.
And there was a few things that got me to choose to serve a mission.
Okay.
But one of them was I lost one of my best friends, and he died in a Michaelhouse school bus accident. And
sorry about that.
I was really close to him, and it was hard to go to his funeral, see the family. I went to primary school with them. I grew up with them, and then I was at the funeral, and I remember sitting there and just feeling like so many people didn't know what was going to happen, what was happening to him. And I decided then that the things I believe in, eternal families, the ability to see family again after death, life after death, would bless so many people. So I thought it would be useful for me to share that.
Wow.
So I started to entertain the idea of going on mission. But then as I progressed in the golf field as well, it seemed more and more impossible for me to do that and pursue a career in golf and have an education.
Oh, wow.
And I started getting people that were helping me out, sponsors and things, but then it came to a stage where I had to make the choice of what university I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And I had a few options, but I ended up going to Brigham Young University in Utah, in Provo. And it is a church-owned university,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to go there originally. As I wanted to play at the best university, some of the
Can
better
imagine.
ones in America.
Wow.
And I had that opportunity, but it just, after going there, visiting with the coaching, the staff, it was amazing experience. And I saw that was where I wanted to go.
Okay.
And so I ended up signing a national letter of intent, a contract legally binding me to go there.
Okay.
But the university gave me the option to serve a mission for 2 years.
Okay.
So I put my university on hold for 2 years, and they put the scholarship on hold for 2 years.
And
So they allowed me to pursue a mission and serve for 2 years, not playing golf, and trusting that I'll be able to return back and get my skill, and then further study on there.
Okay.
So that's
for me, that is very interesting because sometimes, like you were saying, putting your life on hold, it doesn't feel like something that you're losing out, but there is something that you want to pursue on the other side, knowing very well that your dreams, your vision, wherever you want to be, you will still continue. So that's very interesting for me. So would you say going to mission is a calling? You know, people talk about calling. Is it a calling, or because you are either born in a church or you were introduced, you are part of the church so much that it's part of church activities? Does it then, because you said it's a choice, but do you think even if it's a choice, is it a choice that is stem from calling? Because sometimes you choose something because you see it, it's here, but there's no link between you, your soul, and everything about yourself. So do you think is it a calling to want to serve?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I understand that there's a culture and lots of people believe that we are forced to serve a mission. And for me, it was not the case. I did have the choice. My parents were like, we're going to support you in whatever you choose. You're able to follow that path, go this path, and we have your back.
Wow.
So there was no pressure on that end. But you mentioned the word calling, and I know that I was called by a prophet of God to serve Jesus Christ. As missionaries, we are representatives of Jesus Christ, and we are called and set apart from the world to share a message and help serve just like Jesus Christ did. And we are in turn a disciple, just like his disciples that serve around. But it was something I knew I needed to do.
Personally,
I prayed about it, and I did receive an answer that way. It wasn't necessarily given from Google or given from just research. It was more of a spiritual conversion to do.
Wow. Sure.
Yeah.
So Elder Chagadama, maybe you can tell us, what does missionary work include? Like day to day, what does that look like for somebody who doesn't know? What does that? It includes what happens?
All right. So, like my companion said, we first of all we set aside 2 years of our life to do this, right? And within these 2 years, we're basically going out and sharing the message with the people. So before Corona, before the coronavirus happened, what would happen is on a day-to-day, if I just give you a rundown of how our schedule goes down, we would wake up at 6:30 or 6:25, and that's when the day begins. And between 6:25 and 8 o'clock, you're getting ready for the day. You're exercising, eating, showering, doing all that kind of stuff, right? And then 8 o'clock, we begin with our own personal studying of the scriptures, right? And that goes on for 60 minutes. And from 9 o'clock to about 9:30, maybe 10, you've got me and my companion will then be studying the scriptures together, or we'll
Okay.
be talking about how our day is going to go and who we're going to meet, who we're going to talk to, and things like that.
Okay.
Then from about 10 o'clock in the morning to 9 p.m., this is when we're working with whoever it is outside of our apartment, right?
Okay.
Then we are going out, we are going to either look for people to teach, we will talk to members, get to speak to members, teach members, and we then go and to help people to come unto Christ, right? We help people, invite people to come unto Christ. We teach people so that they may be able to be baptized within the church as well. So in a day-to-day, that's basically what it is, and so, and now with coronavirus actually being amplified in a certain perspective, because now we've been able to have to reach people over social media. It's very interesting that we can have this meeting over Zoom. And that's how some of us have been doing it for the last 9 months of being in lockdown. My companion can testify to that one. But we've basically been having to reach people more over social media, over the phone, so that
Oh,
we can
wow.
teach them or help them and reach the people who are, and people that we can't exactly see face to face because they're not comfortable, or just because
Yeah.
of the disease itself.
Sure. Wow. So tell me, because when you're saying you then go meet people outside of the mission, outside of your church, is it people like me who would not be part of your church? If so, do you find that people are receptive of being taught by young individuals? I'm 45, and you're like, teach me the gospel. Like, hey, let me teach you something. I've been alive for 45 years. I can teach you a lot more. But are people receptive? Do you meet people who are really open to your teaching? How does that go?
So
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting question that you've asked, because, for my parents, when they first met the missionaries, they knocked on the door, and, my dad opened the door and said, okay, who are you? They say they're the missionaries from the church, and that they've got a message to talk about God. And my dad told me straight up that he looked at them and said, but you're like 15,
Yes, I would say, meeting you
right?
too. I was like,
Exactly. You guys look like babies. And he said, what do you guys know about it? But my dad gave them a chance, allowed them to come in and speak. So it's interesting, because every time we call someone or meet someone, everyone has their own perspective or perception of, two young guys coming to, give this. You've got a lot of people that we would come around and they'd be like, oh, the prophets are here. It'd be really strange, or the angels are here. A lot of people have that kind of perspective to it. Then there's the sometimes the older people that look at us and say, no, but you can't tell me what to do. I've been doing this for many, many years.
yeah.
So it really depends on the people. And
Okay.
a lot of the people tend to be very open, but there's still too many, I guess, if I can say, that just are like, no, I'm okay. And they close the door and or they just switch off the phone.
Sure. And then you are able to also continue, then that it doesn't stop. If this door is shut, you continue. Doesn't it discourage you?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it's not discouraging at times.
Yeah.
But that's where I think I'm so grateful for the opportunity to not have been forced to do this. Because I know that the message we share will bless and change people's lives. So it means so much to me that, yes, if someone rejects it, it's their choice. Just like I have a choice to do something, I think, yeah, they also allowed a choice. I believe everyone has agency.
Absolutely.
And I find that the discouragement comes, but at the end of the day, it's what am I doing here? What is my purpose? And if I go down to my core reason for being here, it gives me that energy or that drive and that hopefulness to carry on. So some days are tough, but in the end of the day, you just grind the tough days out, and you end up having a great time.
Yeah. Lovely. And like you were talking about traveling the world and meeting new people. So that comes with a lot of, you open up to different people, and you know that you can meet somebody who doesn't subscribe to your belief, who doesn't subscribe to different things, but you've learned that it changes. So what would you advise young people, like in this, like the 20th century, you know how the world is, there's drugs, now the gender-based violence, there's so many things that are happening, and there's a big gap with people from like our time. You know, we lived in a different type of environment where strict rules from parents, and, you know, social media was not, you know, a lot of information was not out there. You know, you can try, I have a 16-year-old. Sometimes everything that is out there on social media, I can't protect her from that. So you guys are so young. So what, like, you're so young to choose, because sometimes religion, Christianity, and like as you are serving, when you dedicate yourself in Christ and God, other people look at you like, dude, are you trying to be better than somebody else? And no, let me just share a little bit of my story. I've been through different churches. I started at Zion with my mom because my mom was attending that type of church. And I went to boarding school, a boarding school where it was a Roman Catholic church. And I came back, got married, and then I was introduced to a Christian church. So in that journey, there was never a time I understood my choice. It was, at that time, that's what it is. I only decided to choose a specific religion and belief over and above my own spirituality, because for me, I separate the two. There's religion and there's spirituality. So religion helps you guide some principles, you know, how to live by. Spirituality is between you and the higher power. So I only made that choice when I'm over 40 to say, I'm going to subscribe to this. You are that young, and people that, you know, I would think, how do you make that choice at that age? What would you share with young people who are still looking, I'm 19, I can go party, girlfriends, do this and all that, because that's the time, and not choose this path, even if it's not in that specific church, but choose the path that helps you to be guided with certain principles that you live by? What would you, looking at the world now?
For me, I'm very grateful for my parents.
Okay.
As my parents, they taught me principles or morals and values, and then they said you can govern yourself.
Oh,
you can decide for yourself on what you want to do. But I feel like there's so many people where they make a choice and then they think the choice doesn't come with a consequence. We live in a world where everyone says, I have a right to choose, I have a right to choose, but they don't have a right to choose the consequence of that choice.
Wow.
And so from a young age, I was taught that the choices I make, I deal with the consequences.
Okay.
Yes, my parents would help me and always support me, but for me, it taught me that I needed a core value, a core belief. With so much information, what did I believe? What did I have as a true north that I wouldn't waver from? And part of the things that we teach is not to just take our word for it, but is to find out for yourself. With the digital world, with so much information, you know, you can just tap a few keys and you can find out anything. But for me, what I'm so grateful for was the ability to read, to research, to meet people, to speak to people, and then to think about it, to question it. And then for me, because I am so grateful and know that God is there and He's my Heavenly Father that loves me, I'm able to turn to Him for advice. And I'm able to receive answers personally from Him.
Wow.
And that's how I found what I needed to do for myself.
Yeah. That's
what
powerful.
was right for me.
That's amazing. That's powerful. I like that you consult somebody who would directly speak to you and guide your life. Wow. And you, Elder Chagadama?
So my advice to young people, it's, you know, like my companion said, it's easy for us to find anything and everything.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately that's how the internet is, right? But for us to really come to know who we are or who we want to be is what is important. I've learned that you need to really focus on your priorities. The person you want to be is what you need to focus on. You really need to actually grow, like, in a way, a backbone.
No,
And what the
you.
church has done for us, each of us, is to help us to learn these, like my companion said, learn core principles or find core principles to say that, okay, I know that I want to be this kind of person. What does it take for me to go in this direction? Right? And I'm going to do all I have to do, all I can, so that I can continue in this direction and not go, anywhere else.
And not knowing where
Right?
you're heading. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Right? I might not know at the end of the day what I might find or what I might see,
Yeah.
but I know that this is the person I want to be. So whoever comes to me and gives me and says, here's this or here's that, I can decide for myself whether I'm going to take that, I'm going to accept that, or I'm going to, continue with whatever I'm continuing. So I find that's the most important thing of the youth. They really need to understand or know who is it that they want to be, and people that they look up to is something that's important like that, for things like that. Because if I look at my father and how he does things, I say that I would love to be like that or similar to that, and so I'll push to become like that and really understand why it is that he's like that. So I'm going to search it for myself, I'm going to find out, and then I'm going to make the decision, and hopefully the consequences are much more positive than the negative.
True. Wow, that's amazing. So where you are now, do you think I know you spoke about family support, but friends and family who are not part of your church journey, what would you like? Do you get support from them? How do you connect with them so that they can support you in the journey? Because you're still young. Yes, as much as they're 18 and older, you are adults, but you're still young in another world where you're serving and they are not there. So do they support you? Are they there? How do you reach not just your parents, because your parents, at least they do understand this journey because they are part of it, but outside your parents and your friends, do you get support? Do you reach them? How, the relationships that you had before?
So for me, I can say I've had support from many of my friends and other family members. It's just been, what it has been is that we've had to almost get them on board and just speak to them and really make them understand what it is that I'm doing.
Okay.
I remember having my aunts over at home, before actually, so after putting in papers to prepare for my mission, they were at home and my parents had to speak to them saying, he wants to go and do this, right? And so my immediate family are easy to support it, and they can then go and speak to him, to speak to my aunts and all of them and say, he wants to do this, and we understand that you love him and you want him to do that, but at the end of the day, he needs to make the choice. He can do this. He wants to do this. Let him do it. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I'm old enough to make these decisions. Let him make the decision. Let's see what happens. And then at the end of the day, we help him. If he falls, we can try, but he's gonna learn.
Wow. Okay. And
it's been an interesting experience, being able to contact my family on certain days and speak to them and get to know, they just say to them, yeah, I'm still okay, I'm still alive, I'm still doing all right, I'm still doing this, I'm able to teach these people, helped a lot of people, and they get to see, okay, he's growing, this is something, this is something that he wants to do, he's loving it. And it also builds that trust and faith for after your mission. What will you do after your mission? They try to ask questions like that, but it's like, okay, I know what I'm what I want to do, what I can do. I just need to be able to, as soon as I go, I'm here now. I need to focus here. Yeah. So when I get there, I'll get there. I'll move on.
I like that. So no pressure. Don't ask me about the future and derail me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Support me here. Is it the same for you, Elder Klintworth?
So I have a bit of both. Because of coming from the background of golf, and lots of my friends are in that industry, and my family has lots of family members that aren't members. Lots of people think I'm nuts. People aren't supportive of what I was doing.
I'd be one of those. I'm kidding.
You know, and it's okay. I mean, that's their perception, what they've learned, and
True.
and I respect that. But I also know that everyone has their own path to walk.
True.
And as lots of those people said, no, it's wrong.
Yeah.
I have lots of people that say it's actually a good thing. You'll learn, you'll grow, you'll become someone.
Wow.
There's lots of people I know that have served the mission, and lots of people that haven't.
Yeah.
And yes, you might not be ahead in an academic world or career perspective because you've given up 2 years, but I've seen they've come to understand who they are.
Okay.
Because you live in a world 2 years, you fend for yourself, you cook, clean, wash, you don't have mommy and daddy, you know. But then at the same time, I had, for instance, Gary Player. He was very supportive to me,
Oh wow.
you know, in the golfing industry, and he supported me with golf. I had a golf coach who said, no, it will never work. I can't give up 2 years of golf and then pursue that.
Yeah.
I
You're gonna be stale. You're gonna be stale.
Yeah.
Like, don't take a break.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Wow.
I have my family on some ends that think, what are you doing? Being questioned. So
Wow.
it's been cool to see that people will help you and people will always fight you.
True.
And you know, it taught me that everyone also has their own beliefs, and your choices some people might not agree with, but at the end of the day, it's you that has to be comfortable and know that the choice is right for you.
That's important. That's key. It's like, that's my mantra. At the end of the day, it's you first and your choices then will follow. So if people want to know where you are, how to connect, because currently you are reaching out to people, but you have not, like the situation where, how can they reach you? How can they come to you? Is there a website, or where do they go? If, let's say, somebody sees this, like, you know what, I would like to engage with these young guys. I would like to be part of what they do. Like when you go meet people and have that session, if they want to be part of what you do, how do they reach you?
So there's plenty of things that are implemented right now. There is a website called comeuntoChrist.org.
Mm-hmm.
That people can reach and you know, find on the internet, be able to actually, you know, get onto it and find out about us, right? Okay. A lot of times you'll find us all wearing these badges.
Oh, so I guess
you'll be able to know the difference, that okay, these are the people that I need to look for. I can talk to them and maybe they can help, right?
Okay.
Also on the social media platform, there's what's it called? Like an ad that goes around, right?
Okay.
That has different things where people who want to know if God answers prayers, if God has a plan, you know, if he listens to me, if he, you know, what's there for me. People can go out and fill out their details there, put their name, surname, their number, their address, and that makes it easier because we from those areas that they stay in, it gets sent to each missionary that is in the area.
Okay.
Right. So we'll be able to get these things, and then we can be able to easily call someone and say, hi, we were responding to the ad that you've now responded to. How can we help? Right. Which has helped us to be able to reach to people and help them on specific needs that they need. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's one thing that can help.
Wow. I'm enlightened. And I did an intro video before this that, you know, when you talk to people with something that you don't have perceived ideas, you don't know anything about, like anything, it's nice to be educated and enlightened. So I hope that other people will find the same. And that's why I was like, I want to talk to them. I want to know. Because it's the same way how we get information out there for people to get help in different areas and different needs. It comes in different boxes, so it will be nice to share. So with your permission, I think I'll talk to you after. With your permission, you'll give me the full details so that when I upload this in my platforms and all that, I can have the same information. And maybe in the future, I would like to come in one of your sessions and be part of them and also continue this journey, because for me, we can have this interview, somebody can pick up, but they don't know exactly how to connect with exactly what you're doing. So this is like an overall, but it would be to get into, okay, let me hear from you. If you say you can teach me the gospel, as much as I know Bible, I know God, I know how the cross works, but there might be something that I really don't know about myself or about what I understand currently, you know? So maybe in the future, I would really like to be invited if you would allow me. I know you have principles and leaders that you need to check with, where I can come and possibly with few young people so that we can have a nice discussion. And yeah, I don't wanna say save, but it will be nice to serve people in different areas and grow together. I told you I'm still young, I'm like over 40, but I feel 19, 20, and I want to grow again. I want to be at that level. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope we will do this again soon.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you. All the best. And yeah, now I have your numbers, I have everything else. I'll be there to support you as you serve others. I'll try and be there like, hey, just checking on you. I'm good. I'll continue to do so. But thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
Cool. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.